Two, and has Hollywood turned on Joe Biden? Well, major Democratic fundraiser George Clooney certainly has.
Yes, so he's called for the president to step down, saying that he is no longer the same person who won the White House in 2020. Cutting words.
But he's not the only one, no, not the only big star to share those concerns. Michael Douglas has also called for Joe Biden to drop out of the race for re-election.
Well, you know it's all over when the movie stars come out against you. But the president is now trying to quell age concerns, as at least 9 Democratic members of the House of Representatives have also appealed for him to withdraw. It all seems to be closing in on the president.
Yes, a drip, drip, drip effect. But could it turn into a flood? Thomas Gift is the founding director of the UCL Centre on US Politics and joins us now. Thomas, things are getting worse for the president.
Things are getting worse, and I think that they could get even worse after today. He's got a big press conference that he's delivering in front of NATO. I think any gaffe, any incoherent phrase, any example of garbled language, it could really be the end of Biden. I mean, it seems like all the momentum is pushing against him right now.
And, Thomas, it does appear as though the more people see of him, the more concerned they get.
Well, that's the challenge for Joe Biden, because if there was one way that he could dispel concerns about his mental acuity and physical vigor, it would be to come out, talk to journalists, go on adversarial media and take questions. But he refuses to do that. There's some sense that his inner circle is protecting him and shielding him from any kind of critiques or criticism. But the more they do that, I think the more speculation builds that maybe he's not up for it.
There was a remarkable quote from a source close to Biden, one of the members of his campaign, anonymous, of course, talking about the donors that say they may well abandon the Biden campaign. And this quote was just, well, if they go, we will fight on alone. It does have the sort of bunker mentality of sort of something that is coming to a head fairly soon.
I completely agree with you. I mean, to some extent, maybe it's just denial. There have also been sort of accusations that Biden is projecting an air of entitlement and even selfishness. But of course, money matters in American politics. And so if the donor class starts to run away from Biden, I think it's going to be hard for him to stay in this race.
But, Thomas, I'm glad you said that, because I can't help but feel it does smack of a sense of entitlement. It appears as though he's letting down his party. One might argue he's letting down his country by continuing in his pursuit at this election, in the pursuit of power. Also, those who fear a Donald Trump presidency, he's making that far more likely.
I think you're right, which is what Democrats are trying to subtly or not so subtly communicate to Biden. But so far, he has been adamant that he's gotten the delegates. It's his nomination, that he's going to run. If you look at some of his tweets and comments on social media, it just seems like he keeps saying, I'm the president, I'm the nominee, I'm doing this. It just strikes me as sort of I, me. And I think nowhere in those conversations there's sort of what's best for the Democratic Party, what's best for America more generally.
And just quickly, finally, of course, we've seen those 9 members of the House say explicitly he has to go, but perhaps it's the other ones who are not saying so explicitly. Nancy Pelosi almost danced around the issue yesterday.
Well, it's a challenge for Democrats because they want to communicate in some ways that Biden should get out of the race, but they know that Biden may not leave voluntarily. And so if that's the case, they're going to have to, race with Biden. And so they don't want to have to eat their words in a couple of months to say, well, you said that Biden wasn't fit and now you're campaigning for him. So it's a real challenge.
Exactly that. Thomas, we don't have to leave it there, but thank you so much for your time. Thomas Gift.